hello there, and welcome to this week's broadcast. Let me start out by saying I'm hoping that you are staying safe, that you are staying inside, and that you are staying healthy. We are in an incredible time right now. It's like nothing any of us has ever experienced before. And the most important message that I have for you is that I hope that you're staying safe. I hope you're staying healthy and that you're taking care of yourself and your loved ones right now. I wanted to jump on to do my normal broadcast because it's really important for me to actually be able to be consistent. It helps me have a routine personally right now. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I wake up in the morning and I don't know what day of the week it is. So when it's a Tuesday, it helps me know that I'm going to be recording my YouTube video, I'm going to be sending out my blog to my email list, and that is a way that is actually helping me right now because I think we all need a sense of routine, something that might bring some level of normalcy back into our lives. So that's one suggestion I have for you today that wasn't even what this broadcast was about, but I wanted to share that. Now, I'd like to really just talk about two things today. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that we are all feeling lots of emotions. And it's going to be very important for us to recognize the fact that we're going to continue to feel a whole bunch of emotions. That's natural based on just what a crazy world we're living in right now. And the best way to manage your emotions is to not try to overmanage them. My biggest piece of advice is, first of all, just don't judge. Don't judge. Expect the fact you're going to be feeling a lot of emotions. My emotions are all over the place too. Some days are better than others. Some days, for some reason, I feel really sad. Sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm good to go. I have a list of things I'm going to accomplish today. I'm going to go boom, 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 take care of them, and that day goes relatively well. And then there are days that are everywhere in between those two extremities. So don't judge. Make sure that you are giving yourself grace because we are living in a situation where day to day we don't really know what's going to be happening. The other thing I wanted to mention about emotions is that right now, because of needing to stay home, and in most places, depending on where you're watching this, you've been home now I'm in California, we've been home for 4 weeks. This is our 4th week. And many of you may be in a similar situation. Some might be earlier in the curve of when you've been home. Some might be even longer from when you've been needing to be staying home. There is a growing sense of isolation and loneliness that happens even if you have other family members in your home who are staying with you now. And I have worked from home for the last 3 years. So I didn't think it would be very much of an adjustment to continue to work at home. But it has been an adjustment and not just the initial adjustment of just figuring out, okay, well, where's my husband going to work and where am I going to work so that we can kind of divide and conquer the space we have. But over time, what's come up a lot more is this sense of sort of isolation and the fact that you're not allowed to do things that you did in the past. And so even if you're used to working at home, you also were used to going out whenever you wanted to, or going for a hike or a bike ride, or talking to friends, or going out for lunch, or going out for dinner. And all of those things have been taken away temporarily. And so there is this sense of growing loneliness that kind of hangs around in the background constantly that's very, very difficult to get rid of. And frankly, you can't really get rid of it. And so I wouldn't even suggest trying to get rid of it. I think you just need to recognize it. Now, my recommendation is you have to stay connected during this time frame. You have to figure out a way to stay connected virtually, online, through FaceTime Lives, through a FaceTime call, through a WhatsApp, whatever way is easiest for you. You have to stay connected with members of your community, your family, and your closest friends, because humans need that connection, and the longer we go without that connection, the more lonely and depressed we can get. And I am not a doctor, so I'm not giving you advice. I'm just telling you what's working for me right now. And one of the things that's really working for me is doing a combination of Facebook Lives that I do on a fairly regular basis on both my Facebook page and La Follette Art, which you can participate in. I'm live every Wednesday at noon, California time. I have a private Facebook group called Anne's Art Club, and I'm going to be going live more often in that group just to support my community there. And then the third third thing that I've now been doing, this is the 4th week I've been doing it, is I'm doing Zoom calls with my creative community. And I wanted to talk about those for a couple of minutes because they're very different in a really beautiful way. So I love Facebook. I go on Facebook Live a lot, and I love the fact that I can communicate with my community, and I can also hear from them because they can talk to me in the comments. But what you're able to do on Zoom is you can see each other. And I was just on one of these creative gatherings today because I do them on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. California time. And you hear the voice of members of your community who you may never have heard their voice before. You might not have known what they looked like. You haven't heard their voice. You haven't seen any of their body language when they're talking to you. And so the three-dimensionality of a Zoom conference call is really magical right now and so important. And the same people are coming to my creative gatherings pretty much, plus or minus a few people who come and go. But for the most part, it's a core group of people that I am now getting to know really, really well. And I cherish the fact that it's another kind of routine. I know it's going to happen on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, and I also know it's going to happen on Thursday afternoon at 1 p.m. And that is a reliable part of my week when I know I'm going to make connection with my creative community and hear what's going on from them and see them and hear their voice and see their face and be able to see the environment in which they're sitting. So I highly recommend it, and I think it's really important to not just be doing things that are either one way or things where you can't actually see the person that you're talking to. So the final thing that I wanted to talk about is this sense of a lack of control that we have over our emotions. And one just quick tip that I have for you is when you wake up in the morning and you have your cup of coffee or your tea or whatever your morning routine might look like, grab a piece of paper and just write down 2 or 3 things that you can control that day, just one day at a time. So take out the piece of paper and just write a couple of things you can control. So for example, you can say, today I can control what I eat for breakfast. Or you can write down, today I can control the fact that I am going to go for a walk around the block so that I get out of the house. I'm not going to see anybody. I'm not going to walk with anyone else. I'm going to stay 6 feet apart from anyone else I meet or I see out there, but I can control the fact that I will leave the house today. And I'm actually bringing that example up because I have turned into a hermit. I haven't left the house in several weeks, and I don't want to, at the end of this, depending on how long this takes, to be one of those people who literally cannot leave the house. So that is one of my personal goals, is to make sure that I'm outside recording today, so that I'm outside and I am going to go for a walk. Or write down something else, like I wrote this down. I wrote another suggestion down, which is, today I will control how much of the news I watch. And you guys have heard me say this before. If you're new here, maybe you haven't heard it, but if you watch me on a regular basis, I've mentioned this quite a lot during this time frame, during this specific time frame, and that is that what you focus on is how you're going to feel. And so stop watching the news, because it's just going to make you feel awful. Turn on some music. That will bring more joy. Join my creative community, and there are links below this video that will allow you to do so, and join some of my lives, join my Zoom calls, and do some fun creative activities together with me and my community, because that's a great thing for us to focus on that brings us all a lot of joy and a lot of relief, and it's fun. So with that said, just a quick recap, be aware of the fact that your emotions are going to stay a little bit all over the place, and don't judge them. Just make sure that you're leaning in some way to a community, to members of your family, to your broader community, to your dear friends, and don't just call them. Get on a Zoom call so that you can physically see them and hear their voice and find out how they're doing, and they can find out how you are doing. And then write down in the morning just 2 or 3 things that you can control on that particular day, because I think it will help you get through the day with more grace. So if you enjoyed this broadcast, please click the subscribe button. Tell your friends about my YouTube channel. I would love for them to join me. Click the little bell so that you get reminded when I do have a new broadcast. And most of all, stay safe, stay healthy, and let's think of ourselves as artists in residence, because words are also so important right now. Every word that we use has a connotation around it, and so we aren't using the word lockdown anymore. We're using the word artist in residence because we're at home together and we're going to pursue really fun creative ventures, and we're going to stay connected with one another. So with that, I always like to say in closing that I am Anne LaFollette, and it's never too late to create. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week.